Legend has it that in 1968, inside the British Petroleum Boardroom in London, England, the company's top geologist announced, "I have good news and I have bad news. The good news? We've discovered a huge oil field. The bad news? It's in Alaska." At the time of discovery, aside from the indigenous inhabitants who have been occupying Alaska for at least 5,000 years, the Alaska North Slope was a wilderness. At 95,000 square miles and roughly the size of the state of Wyoming, the area was largely undisturbed by modern development. No artificial structures, no roads, and no power grid. Thus, setting the stage for the development of a modern engineering marvel with the creation of the Prudhoe Bay oil field and the eventual construction of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline System. Together, in their heyday, a 2.1 million barrel per day powerhouse. The development of this natural resource was no easy task to begin with. The Hickle Highway was an early attempt to move construction equipment north, but after one season, the road was abandoned. What was needed was a natural resource of building material close to the oil discovery site. Luckily, that resource was discovered in significant abundance. The resource? Gravel. The gravel was mined for construction materials used for runways and airports, building roads, camps for workers, for moving material and supplies, work pads for oil drilling rigs and oil production wells, for stabilizing the foundations of the oil production facilities being placed above the permafrost, and for the construction of West Dock and East Dock, which would receive the production facilities already being constructed in the lower 48 states and delivered via tug and barge sealifts. Most of the large buildings were constructed in New Iberia, Louisiana. Since 1970, more than 20 sealifts have plied the waters from the Gulf of Mexico through the Panama Canal and on to Prudhoe Bay. In later decades, the Port of Tacoma in Washington was even used as a construction site. During the brief open water season in late summer on the Beaufort Sea, production buildings were shipped by tug and barge sealifts. During field construction, the largest of these sealifts was in 1975, when massive production facilities, some as large as a 10-story building, assembled in a flotilla in the Chukchi Sea off Alaska's northwest coast. Their mission? To dash around Point Barrow as soon as the Beaufort sea ice moved away from shallow water near the coast. This process of delivery was expensive, restrictive, and very time-consuming. By the 1990s, large manifold buildings were redesigned as mini-modules that could be constructed in Alaska and trucked to the oil fields year-round. The transporting of everyday materials and equipment became much easier with the completion in 1974 of the Haul Road. This 360-mile all-weather road links the North Slope oil fields to the city of Fairbanks, making it possible for as many as 160 truckloads of cargo to move up the highway each and every day. No single event in Alaska's history has affected the financial health and social growth of this state more than the discovery of the Prudhoe Bay oil field in 1968. It was the first step in a journey of development that has made the oil industry the state's largest and most productive economic engine for the past 50 years.